story starts when I became a first-class student. To this day, I remember kids who pointed me out. I can't forget such memories. My parents told me not to worry about it, and they did that because they were jealous. I thought so for a long time till one of my classmates said angrily while playing hide and seek that I will surely win because I'm black and they won't see me. After that, I understood that I will always be different for them. They considered me as a worst human version. On the surface, they pretended they didn't see the difference between us. I started to see it not until after this situation. At primary school, everybody was scowling at me, and sometimes whispered in corners. At home, I didn't tell my parents and anyone else about it. I don't know why I didn't do that. Maybe I didn't feel I had to. As a kid, I saw the world through rose-colored glasses. I didn't mind the fact I'm different when I didn't remember about it. Kids hang in fast to each other and usually quickly forget about their squabbling if there were any. From the beginning, my life was a big can of lies. Mom always asked me whether it's alright or if kids are kind. I always said they are and that I have so many friends. I didn't have many of them. The only person who, apart from teachers, talked with me more often than it was necessary was my best friend Leah. She was a blonde with blue eyes and light complexion, and I had black hair, brown eyes and dark skin color. How was it possible that two opposites found a common language? Sometimes I had a feeling that God sent her to help me get back on my feet. She always supported me and protected if she heard any attack on me. Leah was really kind and gentle to everyone, but if somebody latched onto me because of my looks, Leah could change from a meek sheep to bad wolf in a few seconds. Primary school time was the time when I cared about my looks the least. The fact about the color of my body came back to me just a few times in primary school. Since my 4th class, offensive nicknames often start to come up. They weren't told me right in my face, but each of them hurt me harder. Those were the moments of my weakness. I reacted worse to every new attack and my soul was getting damaged from the inside. From the whole time in primary school, I reminisced 4th class the worst. After some time, Leah taught me how to effectively ignore those teases which I got from time to time. When my classmates noticed that those insults didn't bother me, most of them often stopped their activities. My adventure at the beginning of my education was wonderful, comparing to things which happened when I went to high school. Since my childhood, I liked and wanted to help people. I didn't know where I got it from, maybe from my primary school memories. I wanted to protect people from dangers, which were waiting for them. Since the youngest years, I was in the doctor's profession, and I always repeat my mom that I want to be a doctor in the future. That dream from my childhood didn't leave me, and when the time to choose the profile in high school came, I applied for the biological and chemical sciences profile. After some time, I got the information. I was accepted. At that moment, I didn't realize that it will be the hardest time in my whole life. People never know when they will be lucky or not. I thought in high school people are smarter and more tolerant. I hoped I will finally be lucky and my streak of bad luck will end when I go to a new school. This vision was destroyed in the first year. At the beginning, it was kind of quiet. Nobody picked on me and didn't comment on my looks. My class turned out awesome. They were tolerant and I felt good in their company. Everything started to go wrong after a month since school had started. It began with strange looks and whispering in the corners, but I was used to it, so I didn't pay attention to that. I have never expected that I will experience such big physical and mental violence. 3rd grade students were tempted to engage in such behavior. I'm not talking only about boys but girls too. Even though I didn't do anything, they followed me and shared terrible posts and photos of me. Once, when they were bullying me, I asked crying, "What have I done to you?" They only laughed and looked at me with contempt. They didn't care about my request to stop. I felt that my body and soul fell into pieces. I called them devils because they were the closest to them.
You cannot call us devils because you're one of them.
Blonde-haired girl spoke up once. I knew her. She was really famous among students and respected for being pretty and clever. For me, she was only a blonde-haired devil.
Look at you! Only devils get dark skin from God. We're only God's angels.
The way she was talking to me showed her superiority. I didn't know how to protect myself. I was powerless. Despite trying, I didn't know a way to oppose her. She burned me with a curler, and it created new scars, which were to stay till the end of my life. There was not a moment when the scars stopped itching. When I tried to resist her, I was punished even harder. Beating me up was her favorite activity. I usually came back home going down narrow streets, and it gave her a full scope for creativity. That was the perfect occasion to beat an innocent person. The way back from school, I spent with my heart on my sleeve, praying that Lillian won't come back with me. Third graders' activities and actually the blonde-haired girl destroyed me inside and outside, mentally and physically. My soul was torn apart and hid from everybody. I wasn't ready to show all my character in front of people, at least then. I still have the scars after wounds or burns. Nobody knew about them. I often thought how it was possible that nobody asked me if everything is alright when I looked like I'm just going through hell. The scars were in places where nobody could see. I also didn't wear clothes that showed too much skin. People didn't notice anything. Maybe because of this reason, or maybe because people were not really interested in me. Why didn't I tell my parents? I don't know. Once I was brave enough and I went to our principal's room. I told him about everything, but he only laughed at me. I remember everything he said. His tone and the way he was looking at me. I remember everything.
If that was outside school, I don't know what we are even talking about. Except that it is normal that teenagers spend time together. I guess you didn't come here to tell me that you don't want to meet with other students. After all, it's absurd. That's normal that sometimes we don't agree with each other. Do you have anything else to say, Josephine?
He sighed, shocked out of emotions after hearing about the acts of violence on a student and seeing multiple scars and marks on my body. I couldn't understand how someone can pass over such a situation. How can anyone look at someone's battered body without any remorse? My parents were seldom in our house, and when I say seldom, I mean once a month they came back and checked if I'm still alive. Their visits were real fast, and before I told them about everything, they were gone. In short, they didn't know anything about my situation. Despite that, they weren't bad parents. They were just self-absorbed too much, which I already got used to. In short, that is exactly how I spent my high school. Despite hard time for me, I always had good marks at school. There is a reason why I did it. I wanted to be a doctor, and I needed great final exams result to go to medical studies. I aimed quite high because I wanted to get accepted to Oxford University. My efforts paid off because I scored between 90 and 100% from all exams. Thanks to that, I was accepted to the best medical university in the world. My dream came true and I wanted to take my chance. When I arrived to the campus, I had neutral feelings. I didn't think that I would be treated on the same level as other people there. Since high school, I created one rule which I stuck to. It went like this: if you're going through hell, don't stop. When I was walking around the university, I passed a few people, but they didn't pay attention to my skin. Some people said hello to me and we talked for a moment about my studies profile. Not a single person I met there trampled me over and insulted me in words. Everyone referred to me with regard, but despite that, I didn't let anyone entice me into a lion's mouth, and I still stayed sharp. Nothing bad happened. I reached heaven. I had that impression over my studies time. For 6 years, nobody abused or slighted me. It was, and probably will always be, the kindest time I remember. God took pity on me and gave joy and friendship, which is what I needed the most in my whole life. Professors didn't discriminate anyone, me as well. They showed respect to everyone without looking at where we come from. In the dormitory, I lived with 2 girls. One of them was from Korea and the second from Belgium. With both, I found a common language and we could talk for hours about unimportant things, eat junk food, and watch stupid romantic movies. We walked together to parties, met new friends, and experienced first loves. All of us had a difficult life. I had different type of skin color. Hannah swerved with her Asian beauty, and Sofia was just from another country, like Hannah, and that made problems with communication. I think that understanding each other's situation got us closer. None of us had an easy life after all. After my studies, I got a job in the church hospital as a doctor at the emergency hospital service. And at once I learned to get my favorite specialty training. I wanted to be a neurologist. In my first years as a doctor, I slept about 3 to 4 hours a day. As a result, I once fainted on my shift. After that incident, I started looking after my health. My colleague Chase reminded me about it too. He always asked me about my sleep and how I felt. After that, we started talking more and more. As he was a few years older than me, he helped me revise for the neurologist exam too. That's how I met my future boyfriend, and after I passed my exam, husband. I had everything that I could dream about in my life. A loving husband and kids. A job in which I fulfill. I was just happy and wasn't worried about my past. I felt satisfaction from what I did despite all odds which I met in my whole life. A few years later, a girl who was found in the school toilet by one of her friends was brought to the hospital. The reason they called an ambulance was cardiac arrest, which luckily came back to normal thanks to paramedics, even though the girl was still unconscious. Paramedics found out from her flatmate that the girl had strong headaches for a long time, but she didn't go with this symptom to the doctors. When she arrived to the hospital, the moment I saw her face, I knew she recalled someone. She was really similar to Lillian Miller, who I know more as blonde-haired devil from high school. But it wasn't her. She was too young. Before I took the patient to the hall to diagnose the reason of sudden cardiac arrest, I asked her flatmate to call her parents and tell them about their daughter's state. First, she was examined by a cardiologist who didn't see any problems with her heart, so automatically we suspected the brain to be the main reason. That's how she became my patient. The first examination I sent the girl to was computed tomography, mostly because she often had dizziness. Moreover, paramedics got information from her friend that lately she had problems with memory. After tomography, everything became clear. Tomography's results showed a huge malignant glioblastoma multiforme, and it was in the frontal lobe. A 14-year-old child was supposed to have her life destroyed by an illness which wanted her death. Then I set the goal to cure her completely, so that she could have a calm life until her 70s and longer. I covered the way from the hall to the waiting room as fast as a short-distance runner. I looked at the girl's friend who was talking with a woman. I went to them really fast and I saw who was she talking to. The woman who was standing in front of me was Lillian Miller. She was worried and scared.
Josephine, what is going on with my daughter?
She asked me with growing terror in her eyes.
Why is she here?
She has malignant glioblastoma multiforme in her brain's frontal lobe. Before I said it, I had to take all the power to say the information to the mother of this young person.
But what does it mean?
She asked me when tears fell down her face. We have to operate her to remove a part of the glioma, but it doesn't guarantee she'll be completely cured. Such operations should give longer and more comfortable life to patients. I said it and carefully watched all her facial features. Her face showed words which she wasn't ready to say. I knew one thing. I had to help her daughter even if nobody had one with malignant glioblastoma before. I will cure her, so that she can live until old age. Hope, joy, and appreciation show up on her face. I guess she didn't understand why someone that she hurt in the past wanted to do so much for her child. After a few days, Emma had the operation. During those long hours, I was thinking about a lot of things. I was worried, but I didn't let the fear win. I had to think clear for Emma. I couldn't fail. Her life depended on it. For the next months, I was putting my plan into action. I wanted to completely cure a person suffering from brain glioma. Experimental therapy which I introduced brought effects. This therapy was a method with which carcinogenic cells were distracted and then destroyed by antibodies applied every day in a special serum. Everybody hoped for the best, and after about 2 years, Emma Miller became the first person who was completely cured from brain glioma. I still remember words that her mother said to me. When she found out about her daughter's illness, she was ready to give me the whole world if I could cure her child. She was in a similar situation 2 years later, but the reason why she wanted to give me the whole world wasn't a request to cure her daughter, but a word of thanks for doing it.
I don't know why I deserve your kindness, Josephine. I can't even choose the right words, which can say how much I'm thankful to you.
She stopped for a second to wipe away her tears.
I want you to know that I know only one person who would decide to help a person like me. It's you, Josie.
Life is too short. At least we think so. We want to make the best out of it, but we sometimes forget about it. We usually don't do it on purpose. Situations in our life change our goals. We stop being people that are fair to others. We become egoistic. We start hating people who contribute to our suffering, but we don't know why they have such hostile attitude to us. However, later we get information which points out our mistakes. It allows us to see clearly and come out of the darkness. It leads us the right way, despite difficult moments in our lives. Escape or surrender, it's not a good solution. If you're going through hell, don't stop. Someday you will reach heaven. These were the last words I said at the end of my speech on the Nobel Prize Awards ceremony.